Hello, hello. Okay, we're going on the couch. Round two, round two. Oh, Tim, they haven't beat you this time. Gloria, Happy New Year. Hope everything's good. So, we had a lot of activity going on. I got home from the doctor at noon and went on because so much stuff to cover. We did both Billy Beans on the first show. I got 3 Doug videos, I think. And I don't know what I got on the list there. And I got a clip from that lady from the shooting there, a slow motion one. I got 2 clips I'm going to play then. And then we'll go to JRL, still live from Minnesota. So we'll go ahead and get started here. We get a lot to cover here. Slow motion, you guys. What do you think? Never thought of that. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Hey, Paul, what do you think of that? Here's the real video. Oh, Chico, you just woke up. Big news for today.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking god! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do? You are fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You are fucking insane!
4 minutes.
What did you do? You! Shame! Shame!
No, he's doing his job.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Oh my God.
Dude, what's happening to her? What happened? Dude. Dude, you shot her! I'm trying to help! No! No! You fucking shot someone in the fucking face! You shot someone in the fucking face! Do you have a do. Fucking criminals. Don't let him leave. Don't let him leave.
You guys want me to replay the video, man? Did I?
No, get the fuck out of our neighborhood. Yeah, it's a fucking crime. We fucking know it. We're here. Yeah, like what the absolute fuck, man?
I'll play
What the
Benny's
absolute
video
fuck?
he had out earlier.
Do you have a conscience?
first show
Do
I
you have a
played.
conscience? Do you have a conscience?
JJ,
This is the time, man. This is the time to have a conscience. This is not okay. This is not okay.
hey Mike. Case hopefully should be
Get a fucking conscience.
Can you look at me and tell me you're doing the right thing? Get
This
the
is
fuck
right.
out of here, bro. You didn't put any weapons. Fucking your people did that.
In the head. In the head.
I didn't do anything.
And she drove
You
into the floor.
murderer. You, look at me. Look at me. You can't even
Watch out, man. Watch out.
Why don't you look at me? I thought you could do it. You owe yourself.
You okay, mommy?
So, and guess what? Fox is still showing highlights of it. All afternoon they've been playing. We're going to redo Benny's video we played on the first show. That's the big story today. Oh, Billy Bean came out with another one. Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. January 6th was
Play this
yesterday,
on the
the
first
single day
show,
of the
you
year
guys.
where Democrats pretend to be in favor of federal law enforcement, but today is January 7th, so they can go back to demonizing law enforcement and threatening their lives like they do every single time the federal law enforcement tries to enforce the
This
law
is
in a
10 minutes.
Democrat city or a blue state. Here's disgraced governor of Minneapolis, Minnesota, calling ICE the Gestapo.
Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons.
Okay, where do you think that rhetoric is going to lead? Well, a woman is now dead in Minneapolis because of rhetoric like that. This woman tried to run over an ICE agent who was standing in the street right in front of her. She peeled out with multiple ICE agents around her. This is obviously illegal. She was being instructed to get out of the vehicle. Instead, she rammed the ICE officers, and allegedly she had a firearm in her vehicle. She was shot dead by ICE. I'll show you the footage here in just a moment. Woman has been shot and killed by ICE, Homeland Security said. Domestic terrorism. The unidentified woman was shot after trying to ram the officers in an attempt to kill them during ICE's operation in Minneapolis. DHS said she weaponized her vehicle while attempting to run over law enforcement officers. A federal agency called her actions an act of domestic terrorism. Today, ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting a targeted operation when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officer and kill them. An act of domestic terrorism. True. An ICE officer, fearing for his life and the lives of his fellow enforcement and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers. The alleged perpetrator was hit and is deceased. The ICE officers were hurt, but expect to make a full recovery. This is the direct consequence of constant attacks, demonization of our officers by sanctuary politicians who fuel and encourage rampant assaults on our law enforcement officials who have seen an 8,000% increase in death threats. This is an evolving situation. Okay. So let's do a couple of things here. Let's show you the direct evidence of what happens. This is the moment. So I'm going to break down this video, and let's do it very carefully here. So according to the official story, there was an ICE vehicle stuck in the snow, no pun intended, and other ICE vehicles, seemingly unmarked in Minneapolis, showed up to help. The vehicle was surrounded then by protesters who started blocking their way and attacking them, throwing things at them and stuff like that. I have video of that. You can see it. Then you can see this woman right here in the SUV. She was one of the protesters, and she was blocking the cars. The agents approach her vehicle and ask her to get out of the vehicle. I'm just going to play you the full clip here, and then we'll break it down.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
So here you can see her refuse an order from a federal officer. Get out of the effing car, they said. He comes and approaches the car. Multiple ICE agents have surrounded the car, and they are actually touching the vehicle. He has his hand on the door. And that's when the woman punches the gas, peels out, and there is an ICE agent you can see there stepping out of the way, barely avoiding being run over. You can see that the ICE agents go flying right there, and this is when the discharge of the weapon happened. Due to the fact that this ICE agent was being targeted by the vehicle.
Oh my fucking God!
Sounds like
no! Shame!
1, 2, 3, 3 shots.
Oh my fucking God!
3 shots were fired. Let's go ahead and see it from another angle here. So as you can see here is the vehicle once again speeds off. And here you can see the ICE agent right there in front of the vehicle, jumps out of the way from the vehicle, and they're the ones who discharged their weapon, the one who's right in front of the vehicle.
What the fuck? Dude, what the
fuck? This is now leading to abject and total unrest throughout Minneapolis. The law be damned, by the way. We looked it up just in case you're wondering if you can run over a federal agent. No, you can't. Anyone who threatens to assault, attempts, conspires to kidnap, murder, or injure any person or immediate family member shall be punished. And it's pretty obvious you're not allowed to assault or threaten to assault any member of the federal government, including federal law enforcement. So pretty severe punishments for that. Obviously, you could land 20 years of imprisonment for this. This would be influencing, impeding, or retaliating against federal officials. Right here, just one of the many sections you could be charged with for doing this. Obviously, again, you are not allowed to ram federal officials with your car. Nonetheless, there is major unrest now in Minneapolis. There is a lot of people that are throwing snowballs, hitting federal agents.
Portland, And this is where we were told that you see some snowballs being thrown at officers and that type of thing. That happening as we speak. This is a live picture you are viewing with us. But you can see some of the agents.
Degenerate filth.
Figure out where ice is now, because there's no ice here. In my opinion, we are not bad enough.
What is wrong with people in Minneapolis? What is wrong with these people? Guys are getting pepperballed, like right in the face. That is very spicy, right there.
3 minutes left.
And things I think will descend even further in Minneapolis
Carol,
as the leaders in Minneapolis will obviously use this. Oh, and by the way, this was an anti-ICE legal observer who was trying to run over ICE, like a terrorist. Yeah. Woman tried to flee. Law enforcement tried to run them over in a vehicle. She had no pulse when she was transported to the hospital. So, I'm aware of the shooting. This is the mayor of of Minneapolis. I'm aware of the shooting. ICE, the presence of federal immigration enforcement agents, is causing chaos in our city. We're demanding that ICE leave the city immediately. We stand rock solid with the immigrant and refugee community. So he's going to be standing with the terrorists. Got it? Yeah. Okay, so they're in favor of the terrorists. They're standing with the terrorists. The woman is deceased. It is actually the politicians who called ICE Gestapo who need to be resigning in disgrace. A mob has now formed at the shooting scene. And if you don't want to get shot, then maybe don't attack ICE. Somali bootlicking Mayor Jacob Fry said ICE raids will get someone killed. Well, yes, the terrorists who rammed ICE vehicles. Kristi Noem explained this. She's at an event in Texas, and she commented on this. I'll leave you with Kristi Noem's comments right here.
There, you asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy over 2,000 more officers to the Minneapolis area. And in the last 2 days, we've arrested hundreds and hundreds of dangerous criminals, not just fraudsters who stole from the American people billions of dollars and put it in their pockets and enriched their friends from overseas and themselves, but also individuals who committed acts of murder and rape and trafficking and drug exploitation and child exploitation. So we're going to continue to do our work.
Okay, that's the big news of the day. I'm going to go live right now and see what he's saying. JRL.
Left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis there. We also want to show you some other reaction from lawmakers From Representative Jamie Raskin saying, horrified and sickened by scenes of an ICE agent killing a 37-year-old woman in Minneapolis in cold blood, Congress must investigate this outrage. Secretary Noem must come testify before House Judiciary to explain how this lethal attack was allowed to happen. America's thoughts are with the victims' loved ones. And here's another live look here at that vigil this evening in Minnesota. And we, of course, have been continuing our coverage to provide you the very latest, especially when there is live feeds popping up throughout Minneapolis. And we will continue to do that. Like I said, in the next hour, everybody, we are expecting Secretary Noem to.
Yeah, that's an update on that. Okay, we'll get to intel now. 3 minutes.
Of the entire world. One move, less than an hour. And suddenly, everything recalibrated. This wasn't just about Venezuela. It was about leverage. For years, our adversaries relied on Venezuela as a pressure valve, cheap energy, dirty cash flow, a quiet backdoor into our hemisphere. Russia, China, Iran, all plugged into the same node. That node just went dark. And when that happens, negotiations feel different.
Oh, wait, did I play
We're sitting
this
across
already?
the table from Russia over Ukraine, where lives are on the line. And overnight, one of Putin's most useful chess pieces is gone. His oil leverage diluted, his reach shortened. You can hear the anger from Moscow because power doesn't like being exposed. China knows it too. They call it a breach of norms. That's the sound an empire makes when it's being told, this isn't your backyard. Those sweetheart oil deals, gone. Now Beijing pays more, scrambles more, rethinks how hard it wants to press on trade, or Taiwan, when the U.S. just reminded everyone it still holds decisive cards. This isn't aggression, it's gravity, and the dominoes don't stop there. Cuba survives on Venezuelan oil subsidies. Without them, the illusion collapses. Starve the system, and the system tells the truth. Then come the narco states, the cartel networks tied to Maduro's protection, suddenly orphaned. Supply lines disrupted, fentanyl routes strained. Borders don't need speeches when the source gets cut off. That's how power actually works. And we haven't even touched the real prize yet. Venezuela holds the largest proven oil reserves on Earth. Under friendly influence, that doesn't just lower prices. It rewrites global energy math and undercuts every OPEC rival who thought they had us boxed in. Gold, too. Resources, leverage. Critics will complain about sovereignty. They always do, after the move is already over. But here's the reality no one wants to say out loud. The rules didn't change today. They were enforced. And from this moment forward, every adversary negotiates knowing the same. The United States still remembers how to play the game, and it still moves first. My friends, we are all anonymous, and clarity begins when you stop.
Okay, I'm back, guy. So, did you guys see who was on The View? I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning, but I got 2 short clips. It's less than 3 minutes, so you guys will be shocked to see who was on The View. Yes, you.
What's happening in Venezuela. It's been striking to me to see the confusion, people trying to figure out where they're supposed to land, and supposed is a key word there, supposed to land on that issue. Here's what I have to say. I served on Homeland for 3 years, and drugs killing Americans is a serious issue. Fentanyl overdose deaths in my district skyrocketed by 280%. but fentanyl was coming across the Mexico border, and that comes from Chinese chemical precursors. It wasn't Venezuela that we were ever talking about.
Yeah.
So I pushed back on the reason given is that we're taking down Maduro because he's killing Americans with drugs. Venezuela is not even in the top 10 when it comes to drugs being imported in the U.S. So you can't hold Maduro accountable and not hold Mexican cartels accountable, who are number one. So that doesn't work for me. Number two, we campaigned, and I went to countless Trump rallies and stood on the stage with the president and stood on the stage with other Republican candidates and said, America first, no more regime change, no more foreign wars, no more foreign intervention, enough of this. That's what America first means. And militarily invading a country, killing people in the process, arresting their leader and taking them out, and then claiming this is for the Venezuelan people and saying all the charges are about drugs, but then turning around and literally every single statement is about Venezuelan oil and how it belongs to America, which I don't quite understand that. I believe it belongs to Venezuela. It's not working. And that entire narrative is not working for most people who are saying, wait a minute, I thought MAGA was America first. I thought we voted to put the American people first. And that's where I stand. And I think it's even a deeper issue is if it's okay to go into Venezuela and arrest Maduro, then why are we telling China you can't go and take Taiwan? Why are we telling Russia you can't go take Ukraine? Who are we to tell any country
That's my question.
anything?
I thought she was going to leave all the spotlight. Anyways, we got 3, Doug, and a third, Billy. I did 2 of those this afternoon. We'll do the first Doug and go back and do the third, Billy. Go back. Have a minute.
Terrified, angry, believing the sky is falling, the world is on fire, everything's going wrong, America is done and doomed. Those are lies. And so I'm going to give you the truth. It's very sober. The truth is never, by the way, as sexy as a lie. Sometimes you just go, look, nuts and bolts are, this is where we're at. We're actually in much better place than we think we are. For most of you, electricity is still working in your house. You still have heating. We still have enough carbohydrates and energy to not starve to death. You know what I mean? And people have been trying to get you to worry every day of your life for my last 60 years, going, everything's wrong. And that breeds ingratitude, and ingratitude is the key to unhappiness. I thank God every day that I have legs to walk. And sometimes I got skin cancer on my face back in 2020. I go, Lord, thank you for the skin cancer. If this is how you choose to take me out, so be it. I'm coming home to you. And he healed me. I was often at the most peace when my life was right at the brink. So you show your confidence and your values when everything poops the bed, when everything goes wrong. You look around for the person who is not screaming, flipping out, committing suicide, jumping off a building, terrified, attacking his own people. That is the strategy. Let's get to Dan Bongino. I'm going to get into this because Dan Bongino's been posting. He's here to clean up the MAGA lies that have been going on in social media. I'm going to break it down for you. He's going to more of the black pillars, and I think this is fascinating because you watch a lot of videos. I know if you're watching this video right now, some of you are shut-ins. All you can do is look at YouTube on your TV or whatever. This is where you get your information, and you've been just lied to terrify you. Some of you are even complicit. You go, I want drama. I want tabloid. I want to be lied to. It doesn't mean that you're not a patriot. I'm trying to explain to the patriots how it's not good for us to do that. And I hope we can all change into something more sober. Here's the very sober Dan Bongino. 3 million views on this post below this one. Here's why. The support for the Trump administration in the working world is strong. That's among real people. And people are tired of the endless bull from the black pillar, Chicken Little grifters. Chicken Little, remember, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. And after a while, they lose their credibility. It's also the boy who cried wolf. Watch their tactics. And once you see them, you'll never unsee them. So I'm here to retrain you guys on once you see them and identify them, you go, oh, that's a familiar pattern, what they're doing here. They use a couple of different tactics to bullshit you. First, they overload you with information, but they underwhelm you with evidence. So he uses an example here of a guy who gets arrested. He said, solid investigators, he's talking now as an FBI agent, sift through chaotic information and mine the evidence gems. So you want evidence, not speculation. I heard this could be happening. And I see a lot of it, guys. I might even speculate myself and go, guys, this is going to happen to the Ayatollah. This is what I hear about Putin. This is what I hear about that. And over time, you guys will either learn that my speculations are generally right or they're generally wrong all the time. I'm looking back on my track record and it looks pretty good to me. Charlatans and morons do the opposite. Okay, there's another thing where if you guess about everything, if you just take a guess about every single thing that comes by, you'll eventually be right. So I don't want to just always guess all the time. If I get 90% of the things wrong, then I'm lying to you, passing a lie on to you 90% of the time. So even speculation, we need to hold to sober evidence. Second, he says, black pillars will rarely take on the president directly. Thank you, Dan Bongino. I've said this. This is why people go after Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. They will not go after Trump because Trump will wreck you. So all these grifters online, including mostly on Twitter, but somewhat here on YouTube also, they won't directly attack President Trump. He's talking about Tom Massey, who's going after and trying to arrest Pam Bondi for not releasing the Epstein files. You see it on a lot of these channels that say Pam Bondi's got to be replaced and Mike Johnson is a rhino. Those are all lies. They're being passed on by ignorant people that don't know. But the reason why they go after Mike Johnson and not Trump, because Mike Johnson's just doing what Trump wants and Pam Bondi's just doing what Trump wants. They don't want to go to the big boss because they don't want to get crushed. They know they'll get destroyed by the boss and wind up in the political graveyard of egomaniacs who thought they could take the president on with bullshit. As a proxy fight, they try to pick off his allies, knowing many of them are limited in the ways they can fight back. That is Pam Bondi. 100% he's talking about Pam Bondi, guys. He's going to blow the lid on this because I haven't seen more lies told about anyone online than Pam Bondi that really got some legs on it. And I mean, I would just simply go do normal due diligence. I would just go, someone said Pam Bondi was involved with Big Pharma down in Florida with Susie Wiles and that she's compromised. I'd go look at it. I'd go, oh, that's a lie. And it's even by someone who I respect a lot, maybe like by a Steve Bannon. And I just go, well, I don't know why they're pushing that out there. Why do they want to make her job harder? Or they'll say I get this comment a lot too, because this went all around as a criticism that stuck, which was that Pam Bondi just does another interview on Fox News. And I went and looked at the actual amount of interviews she does on Fox News. It's minimal. It's a literal lie. She does not do that many interviews on Fox News. I looked it up. Jeanine Pirro does more interviews on Fox News, but no one goes after Jeanine Pirro. Stephen Miller does probably 10 times more on Fox News. So they're going, oh, she's just on Fox News again. And I'll hear it. I just heard it in the chat yesterday. They go, she's just doing way too much on Fox News. I'm like, you're just repeating what you heard online. You didn't go to the facts. I looked at the facts. She does not do that. In fact, I wish she did more media on Fox News. So I'm the exact opposite of the liars that are telling you that she does too much Fox News. She does not do enough. How's that for the truth? He says that they can't fight back. Same with Speaker Mike Johnson. He's not here online all the time, so he can't fight back. Dan Bongino says, well, I'm back now, and I'm putting this bullshit to a stop. Everyone inside the administration I crossed paths with is busting their asses to move the needle on real change. And remember, when Dan Bongino stepped down, everyone said, oh, he quit because he had a fight with Pam Bondi. And he said, no, he has no problem with Pam Bondi, is reality. So how does a lie go that wide to where even casual members of my audience just know these two things about Pam Bondi? You know, she's compromised with Big Pharma. She spends too much time on Fox News. And Dan Bongino goes, I'm here to straighten all this out by defending the administration, and I'm all for it. He says, you can do things fast or you can do things correctly. You can rarely do both in government. Even with those constraints, the administration's accomplishments are breathtaking. For those people saying there's no arrests, again, that's another one you'll hear all the time. There's no arrests. No all talk, no call me when there's an arrest. I want to be clear at this point. Intra-party movement policy disagreements are healthy and natural, so we encourage a real debate. But endless pessimism meant to strategically attack a movement from the inside is not about policy. It's political cannibalism. And many of these grifters are hiding their real agendas from you. And that leads me to my next point. The black pillars are infamous for telling you an administration policy or action is going to lead to the end of the world before the policy's even been given time to demonstrate the results. You're seeing it now with regard to Venezuela. Will it work out? Maybe. We will all see. But maybe give it a minute before you attack from the inside the tent while pretending you're an ally. Black pillars and grifters asked for this fight, not us. That's Tucker Carlson asked for the fight. Thomas Massey asked for the fight. But I'm absolutely down to fight. Absolutely down, he says in all caps. So now we have a fighter on our side. And finally, I'm going to go to this final quote here by Dan Bongino. Digital astroturfing 101. So now he's going to educate you on how it works. If you're into gaslighting, black pilling, and bullshitting, one of the most effective ways to do it is through digital astroturfing. So it's not grassroots, it's fake grass is astroturf. It's digital and makes it look like it's a grassroots movement within MAGA and the working class growing up from the bottom. That's how it's supposed to look. But it's a robot. In my chat, I see it all the time. And you guys are starting to recognize it. You go, hey, Doug, this last comment of this guy going against the Jews, his account only existed for 2 weeks. So that's probably a new account. That's probably a robot designed here just to go after Israel. Digital AstroTurf pros use a combination of bots, paid influence campaigns, and useful idiots to give the appearance of an authentic movement. And it's a fraud. And you'll see this in my chat also, guys. You'll see 100 comments in a row talking about another channel, very explicitly talking about another channel. They're trying to get you to go to that channel. So they all talk about the other channel explicitly. And they all talk the same way. That's how you know it's bots. It's always been a fraud. I've been on and off of this platform for 15 years, and I've seen it come and go. AstroTurf Zeros love to tell people to read the room. But when the room is actually read, they ignore it because the mask comes off. Even CNN was forced to acknowledge that the divide in MAGA is bullshit. We're not that divided. And the claim that MAGA is divided, which I have even said, I was responding to the bots that I saw in the chat. It wasn't real MAGA's divided. There's real MAGA and there's a bunch of bots that represent about 20% of the comments in the chat that are against this administration. Bottom line, friends, don't let friends buy into black pill bullshit. Have a great day. And on that happy note, guys, if you are subscribed to this.
Okay, that's the first. Hey, by now, I did an afternoon show after I got home. So, Tim, how come they put the photo out that fast? Come on. It's hard to see, guys. Sorry about that. $37.
massive scandal. Right now, state leaders are demanding an audit of Michigan's Child Development and Care Program, the system that gets over $540 million in taxpayer money each year, because they're worried it could be slipping into the same fraud mess that blew up in Minnesota and cost billions.
Hang on, I'll share screen.
Right now, state leaders are demanding an audit of Michigan's Child Development and Care Program, the system that gets over $540 million in taxpayer money each year, because they're worried it could be slipping into the same fraud mess that blew up in Minnesota and cost billions nationwide. Republicans like Senate Minority Leader Nesbitt are pointing fingers at the Whitmer administration, saying this isn't just routine oversight, but a necessary investigation to see if hard-earned tax dollars are going to the families who need them or disappearing into waste, fraud, and abuse. Democrats in the agency running the program push back, saying there's already zero tolerance for fraud and regular audits, and that calls for a big political audit are really just a distraction from other priorities. But with federal authorities tightening childcare funding rules and other states' programs under scrutiny, people are asking, are we protecting families committing fraud? This could get messy, and it's worth paying attention to.
Coming up next.
Michigan might be sitting on a massive scandal. Right now,
I think we just said that today, Ann, didn't we? I got a 4-minute clip. It's might be okay. Let me know and I'll stop it. Thought this was. Did we play this before?
Imagine laws, contracts, and promises measured against a single standard, reality. If the system lies, consent erodes. If it tells the truth, trust grows. Money is not evil, but deception, intentional or structural, always is. That is the thread we follow. When money becomes opaque, accountability disappears. We see it in endless paperwork, hidden intermediaries, and screens that only a few can read. Transactions take days, sometimes weeks. Disputes fester. Power concentrates in the dark. Debt-based systems thrive on three things: delay to exploit timing, confusion to hide true cost, and secrecy to avoid scrutiny. Together, they form invisible chains that bind people and institutions, shifting consent into control. But what if money were built on principles that make deception impractical? First, transparency, nothing hidden, not later, not after approval, but visible now. Imagine every ledger line readable and auditable by those affected. Second, accountability, every actor owns their action. No plausible deniability, no shadow authority. Responsibility cannot be outsourced to faceless entities. Third, mathematics, not promises. Numbers don't persuade,
I'll put it on the
lobby,
screen
or
right
forget.
now.
They balance or they break. Truth becomes binary, balanced or broken. Fourth, atomic settlement exchanges complete instantly or not at all. No float, no leverage, no time-based manipulation. Finality eliminates the rent of delay. Fifth, permanent ledgering, immutable records that prevent rewriting history. Fraud depends on forgetfulness. Truth depends on memory. Together, these pillars form a system where errors are visible, abuses are traceable, and reparations are factual, not interpretive. Technology ties ledger to reality. When artificial intelligence and satellites observe in real time, they add irrefutable context. Shipments tracked from mine to market, energy flows measured by sensors, land titles verified with imagery. Black markets lose their darkness because physical assets, minerals, logistics, and energy are verifiable and time-stamped. Deception requires shadows. Truth requires only light and instruments that reliably report what exists. Debt slavery depends on three things: delayed settlement, asymmetric information, and manufactured confusion. A lender exploits time and secrecy to extract perpetual obligation. The debtor cannot verify, contest, or exit. Remove those levers. Make settlement atomic, information symmetric, and records permanent, and the mechanism of control collapses. Not through force or revolution, but by removing the tools that make coercion profitable. Systems that relied on opacity dissolve peacefully when truth becomes the currency. Honest money does not rely on enforcement, it relies on alignment. When transparency is total, accountability becomes automatic. When mathematics is final, disputes become evidence based rather than rhetorical. Builders, students, citizens, this is the invitation. Design systems that measure reality, prefer finality over promises, and make deception costly and visible. In that world, value is honest and slavery becomes impossible. Truth sets value free.
How was that one, you guys? Hey, okay, I found Tony on Rumble. We'll play him later. Oh, boy. I got another 4-minute one. I'm not sure. I don't think I played it.
The original claim was, well, you went during winter break. Well, that's not true. And now you're here during winter break, and they're bringing in children.
This is so good.
That is so funny.
Oh, my God.
Their claims make absolutely no sense. And then, well, obviously, people are going to start bringing in children. And either way, whether it's these places are licensed for 90 to 40 children. And for instance, one of the daycares called ABC, they're licensed for 40 children. They receive more than $1 million. The news goes there. They tell them they're going, and there's 12 kids in there. Well, it's licensed for 40. There's 12 kids. So either way, that place is receiving upwards of $90,000 per kid. Meanwhile, parents are spending $30,000 to $70,000 a year on daycare. That's not right. That's still fraud.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised at all at the reaction of the average American? I did a monologue on what was it? Is today only Tuesday? Yesterday I did a monologue on this, and I tried to explain this is your money. This is you work 3 months every year to pay your taxes, and you're struggling every day, and you want to help kids that don't have food, etc. And they are taking this and enriching themselves or sending it over to a foreign country. And I don't understand why every American isn't like, that's got to stop. That's just wrong. I don't care who's involved, left, right, middle. I don't care. So they got to go to jail. You surprised?
I mean, the average American, they're very supportive of what's going on. It's just the crazy leftists that are freaking out because their fraud's being exposed and they're making this a race issue and making it a political issue. And this should be literally the most common sense issue ever, that stealing is bad. And so most Americans are all happy with me. Like, people are coming up to me and saying thank you. But then you also get the crazies that are looking at you like they want to kill you inside the airport. And so it's actually insane to think that some people will be mad that fraud's being exposed.
Nick, I want to commend you. I saw you say something, and this is what has saved me over and over again. You know, I ask people all the time, how is your soul? Because if you lose touch with your soul, you're in trouble. Especially fame and fortune and accolades, they're battery acid to the soul. And let me just give you some advice and then also just tell you how happy and proud I am of you. of something. If you start to want it, get out. If you start thinking, you know what, I'm just the cat's meat, get the hell out, because you'll lose your soul. Take people at their word. If they're threatening your life, take them at their word. Do not dismiss any of that. And if you ever need anything, you call me and we'll help you on security and help figure that out for you. The other thing is, I have to tell you how proud I am. You said somewhere, it may have just been a video you posted, you know, I don't drink, I don't carouse, you know, I'm clean cut, I don't do anything wrong. So what are you going to get me on? That, please know that is your superpower. That will save you from everything. The minute you have something to hide, someone will find it. If you make a mistake, admit it immediately and make it a big deal that you made a mistake and you're admitting it immediately. So no one can ever wield anything over your head.
I don't know if
If
Lucy
you
said
stay
it yet,
clean
is she?
and admit your mistakes, no one will be able to touch you. I mean, other than, you know, physically, but no one will be able to destroy you.
I called
I'm
her.
so
She
proud of
must have
how
got
you've lived
busy
your life
tonight.
and your principles.
Yeah, thank you. It means a lot. And yeah, I really do just try to live my life and just have like my morals and principles, and just like I can still live a great life. And I would say my life's even enhanced from the way I live, and the opportunities I get presented are a lot, in fact, just because of the way I do live my life. And so it's something that I hold true to, and I will to until the end of time.
Nick, thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for everything you've done.
Okay, that was a good one. Billy Bean time. Get that one out. Third one today.
In Texas, 2026 time in Texas, about 3 p.m. It appears by nightfall,
again.
The United States could be at war with Iran and Russia. So let's get to it. So we have things going on in both the Middle East. So we have Israel, Iran. You also have some developments in Venezuela that are related to what's going on with Iran and also Russia. Now, in my earlier video, I put out that the U.S. had seized a ship, the Bella, that appears to have belonged to Russia, but had renamed and reflagged itself Bella and had a flag of Guyana. It's now renamed itself Marinera and reflagged itself as Russian. So we had this sanctioned oil tanker running the embargo the U.S. had put up in the Caribbean. And we had a showdown. Since it had moved out of the Caribbean, associated with the timing of the U.S. taking Maduro, it had been followed by the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard. This morning, the U.S. military seized this ship and moved it from the North Atlantic to Ireland, which is part of the UK. The U.S. military also seized a second sanctioned oil tanker, it's believed now also belonging to Russia, in the Caribbean. The name of this one is Sophia. And It's being put forth that a third Russian-sanctioned oil tanker has been seized by the U.S. military. We don't have the details on that yet. However, we have others, and now the Bella was not loaded with oil. It's believed the Sophia also was not loaded with oil. And it's being put forth by other sources that these two sanctioned Russian oil tankers were loaded with illicit cargo. I speculate that Russia was trying to sneak in weapons to Venezuela via oil tankers. Now we have the U.S. military seizing Russian-sanctioned oil tankers. And we have a response from the Russian government today that the Russian government wants to move toward a state of war with the U.S. So that's going on. We have that, a second tanker, Sophia, has also been seized. It's believed they were both loaded with illicit cargo. And we have this today. The Russian government Duma, that's like their Congress, Alexei Zurovov, Deputy Chairman of Defense, made this public statement. It's coming out on news media that Russia should attack and sink U.S. ships with torpedoes. And we have this. The Russian government votes to sink U.S. ships after 2, and now it's being put forth as 3, Russian flag tankers have been seized. We know that one is called Bella, renamed Marineris. 2 is named Sophia in the Caribbean. We still don't have details of the third. The Russian government house, Andrew Klees-Haas, has made this public statement that the U.S. is engaging in U.S. piracy. I got this to say. The U.S. military moved against Maduro, who presented a security threat to the U.S., especially since inside Venezuela, within reach of America, were military troops and equipment from foreign nations, Russia, China, Iran, and Cuba. And we have Cuban troops were there. We know when Maduro was taken by the U.S. military, the U.S. Army Delta Force, once they got inside the presidential palace, were killing every inch of the way until they made it to Maduro's location, taking out 32 Cuban security. We now hear 42 Venezuelan security, and it's unknown. There were a number also of Iranian security there, but it's over 100 security who were killed by Army Delta Special Forces to take Maduro.
Take advantage of our winter offers and book your hotel. Save up to 45%.
It's being put forth now with the capture by the U.S. military of these sanctioned oil tankers that Russia was sending in illicit weapons to Venezuela. Now, the Russian government puts forth that Russia should sink U.S. ships and that the U.S. is engaged in piracy. And we know from the recent U.S. Strategic Security Plan, the U.S. is committed to pursuing a Monroe Doctrine path, adding to it the Trump corollary that came out of the U.S. Strategic Security Plan. Yes, when foreign nations present a security risk to the American people, we will take action. And now we have this. The U.S. Department of Justice is issuing additional warrants. The tankers seized all had on them from U.S. courts warrants to seize them. The DOJ is now developing additional warrants to seize additional tankers. And for the crew of the Bella, renamed Marinera, reflagged Russian, the crew of the Bella are now under U.S. criminal investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice for failing to stop. So that's going on. And now we have this in Venezuela. The current government under Rodriguez is negotiating a deal with the U.S. regarding Venezuela oil. From a presser today, Carolyn Levitt answered a question regarding elections in Venezuela, stating that the U.S. government considers it too early now to plan for elections. Apparently, the first thing on the table between the U.S. and Venezuela is to work out an oil deal. And a leak from a communique by the State Department, Marco Rubio, is the U.S. is demanding that Venezuela break all connections with foreign nations, specifically Russia, China, Iran, and Cuba. So that's going on. And we have this. So we have also a war situation involving the U.S., also developing today with Iran. I put out in a previous video, for the past 7 days, the Iranian people have been engaged in protest and overthrowing its current government. They have been in a state of revolt. And also we heard yesterday that the Iranian military had begun to machine gun down its own citizens in the streets as they protest. Well, today, the Iranian citizens have overcome the Iranian military and taken control of a city in western Iran named Abdaman. Abdaman. And we have this. We have that Russia today sent 3 jets to Tel Aviv in Israel to evacuate all Russian citizens in the embassy and their families. And in the last 36 hours, according to Hal Turner's intel, the U.S. has put in place a massive military buildup in the UK and Europe. It's now believed there are several points of interest for the U.S. military, one being to seize the sanctioned oil tankers that ran the blockade around Venezuela. One is to also engage against Iran, possibly with Israel. Now, this hit on Iran appears to be imminent. We see Russia sending not one, but 3 jets to Tel Aviv to evac its people from its embassy. And in the last 36 hours, the U.S. military has had a massive buildup prepping for these hits. And it's believed that if the U.S. or the U.S. and Israel hit Iran, that Iran will respond, or possibly Iran will engage in a preemptive hit and will launch at least 1,000 missiles against Israel. So that's going on. It's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Looking for a new. Okay, we got 3 of them out today. I'm going to do, she has 2 up. I think I'll just do one of the YouTube lady, 20 minutes, and I'll go back and do a few 5-minute ones, and then a second Doug. Probably till 7 o'clock.
Right now. I'm sorry. Hold on. We can get to this in a minute.
They got me in the back of the police car on the handcuffs and everything. Gee, they said they charged me with.
She used Siri to call her man? Oh, I don't think she's supposed to do that. Okay, everyone. Today's video is one of those you can't make this up kind of moments. Police had been tracking a retail theft ring across multiple stores for weeks. And when they finally cornered the suspects, it all went downhill real fast. The woman in the car has no idea what's going on, or at least that's what she claims. But the second an officer shows up, she bolts like it's a track meet. Normally on this channel, we're looking at clear-cut thefts and wild meltdowns, but this one, it sits right in the gray area between confusion, panic, and full-blown chaos. Let's get into the footage and find out what's really going on in this parking lot.
Officers responded to a retail theft that had been ongoing for weeks. They finally cornered the suspects in a parking lot. Here's what happened next.
All right, she's walking out. Mayor. Yes. She's running. You're done. You're done. I'll tase you. I will tase you.
I didn't do nothing.
I will tase you. Turn the car off. Turn the car off.
What do we do?
Turn the car off. Turn the car off.
Why you turn the car? I don't have nothing. I don't have
Turn the
nothing.
car off.
This
Okay,
is
I'll
horrible.
come out, but I'm gonna record this.
No, stay right here right now. The car.
No, wait, she gotta put her in car.
Get out of the car. Stay right
You
You
said
stay
get
right
out.
there. Not you, ma'am. What's your first name?
Tamara.
I don't have nothing.
What's going on?
I don't know. I don't have shit. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
What do you mean you don't have?
That's why I'm getting put out the car? Why am I getting put out the car?
All right, Tamara. My
I'm
name's
just
Dan.
trying to see what did I do.
Well, explain that.
Okay.
You just don't run. That's how people
You
get hurt.
scared me.
Put your phone away. There's a policeman talking to you right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Put your
Tamara, put your phone away. There's a policeman talking to you right now. I'm sorry. Hold on. We can get to this in a minute. I'm just texting the rest of my people to let them know that I am totally busted right now.
Put your phone down.
Okay.
Explain everything in 1 second, all right? We're going to be cooperative with you. We're not here to hurt you.
Okay.
Or anything, okay?
I don't have nothing.
Okay. We're not here to hurt you. We're just here to explain what's going on in a second. Once my sergeant is okay with him, you're good. I'm going to go make sure the sergeant's okay. So do you have a ID?
No.
Okay. Do you have one in the car? Or anything
No.
like that?
Nobody wants the police to get violent with them and use force.
Okay.
So then listen to the police.
Okay.
Right?
Because I don't know what you pulling me over for.
I didn't even get to explain that to you yet.
Okay, well, I don't know what's going on, Wanda.
All right. Sit in the car. I don't trust you. Put your feet in the car.
I don't go nowhere.
Thank you. You ran right into the car.
Because I know. I thought you said me. I didn't even do. I was just coming out.
Hey, come here and stop. And you ran like a bullet and said, go, go, go to her.
Hey,
I didn't know what we did.
Well, you know what? When a policeman approaches me, I just stop and I talk to him.
Okay, you're right, sir. I'm sorry.
We're working through an incident with some multiple jurisdictional incident right now.
Okay.
That's been taking place at Altos.
Okay. I just literally came out of TJ Maxx. I asked them if they have a bathroom. They told me no.
Yeah.
I literally just came out of TJ Maxx. I don't have nothing, so I don't know why I'm getting pulled out of a car or none of that.
So yeah, what's going on again is that we are getting calls from multiple jurisdictions.
What do they got to do with me though?
Agencies. You match the.
Because I'm black and I'm a female.
No, the vehicle.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, let's very quickly jump to that, right? No, the vehicle matched the description, honey. Not the fact that you're black, not the fact that you're a woman. Of course that card is going to get pulled this easy. Of course it is.
Okay.
We can do nothing. I just came out of TJ Maxx and you just like you.
Yeah. You, come here.
Okay.
Stop. You know what stop means, right?
Okay, I got insurance. I got everything for my vehicle.
Relax. Now that everything's calm, we can talk.
Okay.
What's in the cup?
Nothing. Water. Nothing but water.
That's just fine.
But in order to...
Okay,
So
that's
a
fine.
vehicle that I did damage to?
No. He's talking to me.
Oh.
Let's call Algonquin and McHenry and have...
Go ahead.
The driver was constantly panicking and did not cooperate with the officer.
You gotta hang out over here.
Okay, but why? You feel me? I don't. Did they tell you my name?
You just told me your name.
Right, but I'm saying, did the Ulta tell you my name? I don't have
No,
shit.
they
I
gave-
didn't do
they gave us
shit.
the
Did you just see me come out of
Where
Ulta?
did you come from?
Did you just see me come out of Ulta?
Where were you coming from? We're not here to hurt you.
Okay.
We're here to conduct an investigation, okay?
Okay.
We have reason that you guys committed multiple retail thefts.
Okay.
That's why we're here. So please provide my sergeant with some identification, please. And then when we see someone running, what's your name?
Tamara Carter.
That tightens us a little bit. That something's going on, okay?
All right, hang on. We got...
Yeah, I'm gonna send you my location right now because they playing with me. He talking about I fit the description.
Listen,
Of what though? I'm gonna send you my location.
India.
Don't yell at me. Did I yell at you?
I'm trying, but
Did I yell at you?
No, you did, but I'm trying to get
You
your
feel me?
attention.
You're an adult and I'm an adult. Don't yell at me.
I'm just trying to get your attention.
Okay. You are not answering the officer's questions. Of course, he's yelling to try to get your attention because he's getting frustrated. Just cooperate. All you have to do, if you truly have nothing to hide, if you have truly been asked to exit your vehicle for no reason, just cooperate. Don't be argumentative. Just cooperate. If you have nothing to hide, which me thinks she has something to hide.
She's going to answer this question for you. I want your attention.
You recording the conversation?
That's fine. Everything is recording on his camera.
CCOM from Crystal Lake 206. Copy one by name and date of birth, please.
I'm just trying to get your
my
attention.
location. I shared it.
Okay, listen.
What are you arrested? Why am I getting arrested? Why am I getting arrested though? Why am I getting arrested? Why am I getting arrested though?
Put your hands
But
behind
why
your
am I getting arrested? What did I do? Why am I getting arrested though?
Listen.
Why am I getting
I'm
arrested?
trying to explain it to you. Hang up the phone.
Don't hang up my phone.
I don't want to hear about the law right now.
Where you guys?
I don't know.
What am I getting arrested for? What am I getting arrested for?
I'm gonna have you walk around the side.
Why am I getting? Where's my phone? Can I get my phone? We got your phone. Okay, give my phone.
Face the squawker. All right. Do you have anything on you that's
Nope.
gonna stick you, poke me, anything like that? Nothing on you?
Nope, nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Make sure my windows slide. My rear
Nothing. Is y'all body cams on?
Yes.
Are y'all body? Because I'm black and I'm a female.
Did you say that?
Because I'm black and I'm a
You're the
female.
only one who said that.
Because I'm black and I'm a female. So what am I? Why am I suspected of something? Why am I suspected of something?
Watch your head.
Where's my phone?
You have your phone.
Okay, where though? Can I have it?
You cannot have it. No. I'm gonna do me a favor. Face that. Yeah, that's this kind of face that direction.
No, not like just your face. I don't want to. I'm not trying to kiss you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm confused. Why am I being arrested though?
Here, you know what?
Why am I being arrested? Like, I'm confused.
Hello, how you doing?
The officer attempted to clarify the situation for the passenger.
Okay, so I'm saying like
So right now you're stopped, and now you're not arrested.
I understand. Yeah,
because you're well, you didn't at first, but you're cooperating now.
Right.
Okay. Once we allow those other communities to continue with their investigations of what allegedly happened, and if they determine that you and her are the ones that did it, then police will be arresting you. But I don't know which town, maybe both.
Okay.
All right. So she's under arrest for obstructing because you're in an investigation. You gave her lawful order, knock it off. She said no. Enough is enough.
Sure.
Okay. So she's now being cooperative. Initially, she took off as soon as she saw me, and I gave her an order to stop. She ran at a car and she's screaming at her, "Take off, take off, take off!" Okay. But we're good. But we're good now.
Okay.
But we're good now. I'll tell you this: in 28 years, that's not a normal reaction.
Okay.
I ask people.
Exactly. It's so funny when people think that they are going to attempt to flee and then try to claim innocence. Like, oh, I fled because I didn't do anything wrong, but I saw police approaching me and so I needed to flee. Do they realize that makes zero freaking sense? Logically, you would only run from a police officer if you were doing something you weren't supposed to and you knew you were going to get arrested. That's why both of these chicks, and pulling the race card, saying that they didn't do anything, they don't understand why they're being arrested. Bull honky, okay? Bull. You know that there is a reason why the police are arresting you. Just go along with it and don't make things worse for yourselves.
People stop all the time,
Okay.
and they stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm handicapped though. I got a disabled. Look at my ID. It say disabled on there, right here.
Right, but do y'all have proof?
So listen,
do
we
y'all
have to
evidence?
positively identify you right now. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be obstructing the identification. Okay?
Okay.
So I need to know who you are. Because I know it's not the name and date of birth you gave me. Now, we're working through something right now, okay?
Right, so I'm not gonna be let go.
Are you going to identify yourself?
If I identify myself, am I
That's
going
not how
to
this
be
works. Are you going
let
to identify
go?
yourself or not? Are you going to refuse to identify yourself and we continue to obstruct
That's a crime?
identification? Yes. And
Just give him the correct identification. You're making it worse. The excuses that these people are coming up with to justify their actions and the reasons why they think that they should be released are absolutely mind-boggling.
in this case, yes.
How? In this case?
Yes. Because you're detained and you need to identify yourself.
Right, so how you gonna
You're
detain me
arrested.
and you don't even know who I am? That's what I'm saying. None of this shit even makes sense to me. I'm confused.
We've been always around each other, but I'm telling you that is what I know. You stay in the same neighborhood. I don't know her name, so. Oh my God.
Well, you know, it's.
But y'all not supposed to search my car without me being under arrest or anything.
Stop. I know what I'm doing. I've been on a long time.
Right, so why?
Almost 30 years. I'm going to make sure you don't have a gun you're sitting on. Now that I've done that, you can sit back down.
You saw me in the car. You know I ain't had no gun.
I don't know. You're not sitting on one.
You're your Miranda rights, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Before we ask you any questions, it is my duty to advise you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
I'm going to go right here, just right here. It's a plastic bag. No.
Where you going? No, not all the way in the back. Not all the way in the back.
We're not doing that.
Not all the way in the back.
It's right here. Here, but listen.
Look, it's right here.
I understand, but yeah. When he says no, you can't.
You're reaching right there, and now you're reaching all the way in the back.
Okay, you see what I'm saying?
It's right here.
Okay, I understand that, but you're putting your hands places, and I told you the one thing that makes police officers freak out and get real nervous is when you start reaching places and we don't see.
Soon, one of the officers took the driver for identification purposes.
All right, we can step you out here for a second.
Okay.
And then we just got to walk to the middle of the roadway and just follow my instructions, okay?
Now, what am I doing?
This is just a show up. We got to have somebody take a look at you.
Okay.
Okay? So go ahead and step on. I'll shoot you. I'm walking right over here, okay?
Okay.
Okay, come on. Okay, good.
What's going on?
We're gonna walk over here.
Oh, God. Let's go.
We'll walk over here. Yep, and turn with me back this way. And then turn to the other side. Okay. Good to get her back? Okay, we'll go back in this way.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, watch your step. Watch your step. Yeah, put you back in this. Thank you.
Finance the old way. Finance the ramp way.
What are you doing? I forgot to.
All I gotta say is I can't say it. They think it's always a racist. Always a racist. I don't understand that.
Renew my passport, so I'm faking my trip online. You need gov.
Babe, they got me in the back of the police car. I'm in handcuffs and everything. Gee, they said they charging me with.
She used Siri to call her man? Oh, I don't think she's supposed to do that. She's not supposed to do that. Can she get charged for that? Can she get charged for that? Are they going to find out that she's on the phone? Oh, I don't think she's not supposed to be doing that. She's not supposed to be doing that.
Gee, they said they charging me with not giving them my name, G. That's what I'm saying. That's what I told him. I'm in the back of the police car. I had to use Siri, but
Look, I'm on my way. Don't tell that ass shit. Don't open your mouth.
I didn't. He asked me. I said you didn't even read me my Miranda rights before you put the handcuffs on me. He talking about some I don't have to woo woo woo. But I'm in a police car. I'm in handcuffs and shit. And they didn't handcuff her though. Like she's still in her car. Nah, I didn't want you to call her. Why you call her, bro? You was scared? Yeah, I'm in the back of the police car. Shit, they probably try to take me to the they probably finna try to take me to the police station.
The other female was also taken for identification.
So we gotta walk you over here, if you could. Walk with us. If you could take your mask off, we'd greatly appreciate that. Good? Okay. Going over here. Then you can stop right there. Okay. Then go ahead and turn and face me. Good. Turn around.
Well, Lori, it's part of education, people to learn the law.
Face that car. Turn around and face Officer Zelensky. Turn around and face that squad car again. Okay. All right. So.
83 right now?
Yeah.
All right, right here.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna be placed under arrest. I'm gonna have you turn around
You're
right
under
now.
arrest.
Okay.
Okay.
She said that. Okay.
All right.
Turn around. Okay, do me a favor. I don't want you to turn yet one specific way. You said you were in a car accident, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put these on, and keep your hands turned, okay? So I'm going to try and make sure that they're comfortable on you. Wait, no,
Go ahead, Tamar.
Yeah. Watch your head.
Can you make sure you get my purse, please?
Yeah.
Get your purse. Okay, do me a favor. Turn your face this way, because I'm going to reach and grab this. Oh, my word. I got to reach over.
Right, but he said he charging me with obstruction of identity because I ain't want to give y'all my motherfucking name. Go ahead on, bro.
Did they take your ring?
Nah, she not arrested. She not arrested or shit.
No.
I swear to God, bro.
She ran to the car.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have her in handcuffs or nothing, bro.
That's that she corroborating. You ain't corroborating.
That's because I ain't giving my name, but I don't have to give y'all my name.
Yes, you do. You have to give them your name. You have to be able to identify yourself, because if you don't identify yourself and if you make it harder, that is an additional charge. And how does she know that her friend's not in handcuffs right now? She can't see her. How does she know?
If they let you get it, babe, Grab the Louis duffel bag. If they let you get the shit, grab the Louis duffel bag.
One of the officers caught the female talking to her boyfriend on the phone.
Babe, he hung up my phone. He hung up my phone, but you just gonna have to follow me. Hang up, hang up, hang up, hang up.
Do you have an iWatch?
Nope.
Let me see.
I don't have no watch, bro. I don't have no watch, bro.
I'm checking.
I don't have no watch. I don't have no watch.
I just want to check.
Oh, she got so busted. Oh, I wonder if they catch you on the phone like that, you're not supposed to be able to call somebody. And if you do, can you get in trouble for that? I don't know. Can you get in trouble for that? Can you get in trouble for making a phone call using Siri when you're not supposed to be calling anybody?
Lori, she has 26,000 views on this video.
Can that be an additional charge? Let me know in the comments if you know.
What is you doing with my phone? What are you doing with my phone? Put my phone down. I don't want you touching my stuff.
It's fine. I don't care.
Put my shit down.
I'm turning your phone off to save your battery.
Okay, I don't.
Don't touch my stuff. Okay, I don't care. Honey, if you are being detained and arrested, they're gonna touch your stuff. It don't matter what you say.
I don't need my battery saved.
Okay, well that's
I don't need it saved.
If you're living with severe alopecia areata,
It's about over.
it's time to grow out.
One of the females was charged with obstruction of identification, and both were transferred to the police departments corresponding to their cities for further processing.
Okay, so the first chick was just charged with obstruction of identification. The other one just got pulled in for questioning. That's it? That's it? They were able to track these two women as being a part of this retail theft ring, and they were just taken in for questioning. I'm assuming it's because they couldn't find any sort of proof that there was any shoplifting that had taken place on that day. Maybe they are just kind of like cogs on a wheel of a bigger operation. I mean,
That's
obviously
your
this
opinion,
retail
Lori.
theft
That's
ring
your
is not
opinion.
just them. So yeah, it sounds like they were just brought in for questioning.
I don't know why you're all upset about this video.
The Attorney General of Minnesota, who was just caught on tape. I told you this was a big show today. I mean, this is what happens when I go on vacation for a little bit, right? We come back, we got a lot of news. This guy, Keith Ellison, he basically, Washington Free Beacon has a story, was that caught bragging about helping to indict fraudsters who stole $250 million from a federal child nutrition program. No, he's been bragging about that, right? He's like, oh, I did what I should do. But it turns out there's newly uncovered audio which shows Ellison privately offering support to people tied to this scandal. And I got the tape for you, and we're going to watch it together because this is not looking good for Minnesota and its leadership. Listen.
Feel free to call me directly. And it is my goal to see prosperity among people who've been denied it. You know, I think it's very kind and important for you to say that new American communities appreciate the sacrifices of people who come before, but we're all in this together. Mm-hmm. Right? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of you to say it, and I appreciate it, but we don't recognize no differences between us. Mm-hmm. We're one, mm-hmm. and we're going to stand up for each other and make sure that we get some things fixed. Absolutely. I do recognize there's a problem, mm-hmm. but what I really need to be effective on your behalf mm-hmm. is to get specific. Absolutely. And it's like, you know, this sister on this day is having this problem on this, and then I can call them like, what is the problem? Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, just being able to say, just getting the question, just getting the inquiry from the OG is sometimes enough to make people knock it off.
We need a true and steadfast partner to fight for basic
Hold on,
justice.
3 minutes.
And that is your MO.
Well, brother, let me just tell you this. Of course, I'm here to help. I mean, but let me be clear. I'm not here because I think it's going to help my reelection. I don't care about no reelection. I voluntarily threw my congressional career away. I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's boring to me. So to do this, to do what I'm doing now. So of course, I didn't leave that job to do nothing in this job. I mean, am I going to get more hits than I got by prosecuting a police officer and giving them life in prison? Right. So we're going to, so let's just go fight these people.
Wow. Okay, so that was leaked audio. Newly discovered. It seems that he's trying to play ball with them in a way because, well, we're all Black, right? We don't care if you just got here recently. We have our struggles. You're going to have, he's trying to lump everyone together again in this division politics. Don't forget, he was out there really pushing for that Somalian vote. The reality is, look, you're not going to win a state election in the state of Minnesota if you don't have Minneapolis, and you're not going to win Minneapolis unless you have the Somalian population. So he was acting in his own self-interest, possibly looking the other way when bad stuff was going on. It's getting ugly for Waltz. It's getting ugly.
Okay, I got a second Trish video.
Should have said on the air, and he knew, and he was briefed by his producers and told not to, and he's just, I guess, waiting out the last days of his contract because he's miserable with Donald Trump in the Oval Office. And so listen to how he gets scorched by our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. This is brilliant. I want you to watch it with me.
He said the United States is going to run Venezuela. Under what legal authority?
Well, first of all, what's going to happen here is that we have a quarantine on their oil. That means their economy will not be able to move forward until the conditions that are in the national interest of the United States and the interest of the Venezuelan people are met. And that's what we intend to do. So that leverage remains, that leverage is ongoing, and we expect that it's going to lead to results here. We're hopeful that it does, positive results for the people of Venezuela, but ultimately, most importantly for us, in the national interest of the United States. We will no longer have, hopefully, as we move forward here, we'll set the conditions so that we no longer have in our hemisphere a Venezuela that's the crossroads for many of our adversaries around the world, including Iran and Hezbollah, is no longer sending us drug gangs, is no longer sending us drug boats, is no longer a narco trafficking paradise for all those drugs coming out of Colombia to go in through the Caribbean and towards the United States. And obviously, we want a better future for the people of Venezuela. We want them to have an oil industry where the wealth goes to the people, not to a handful of corrupt individuals and stolen by pirates all over the world. That's what we're working towards, and we intend to use the leverage we have to help achieve that.
Let me ask the question again. What is the legal authority for the United States to be running Venezuela?
Well, I explained to you what our goals are and how we're going to use the leverage to make it happen. As far as what our legal authority is on the quarantine, I'm very simple. We have court orders. These are sanctioned boats, and we get orders from courts to go after and seize these sanctions. So I don't know, is a court not a legal authority?
Hey, just to remind everybody, right, there are sanctions. Venezuela is not allowed to send that oil to China or to Russia. There are sanctions on Russia. There are sanctions on Venezuela. You can't just pirate this stuff all around the world. That's what they've been doing. You saw me reporting on this last summer, right? Because I was telling you how they changed the flags on the ships and they're trying to send it to all these various places. Half the time they're trying to go through, the Irish Sea. That would be the Russians trying to get it down to, Venezuela. Forgive me, not Venezuela, but to China. And it's a huge problem. But let's continue listening. So yes, we have the jurisdiction. We have the legal authority. We have the international standing to be able to do this. Just don't tell Georgie.
Is the United States running Venezuela right now?
Well, I've explained once again, I'll do it one more time. What we are running is the direction that this is going to moving forward. And that is, we have leverage. This leverage we are using and we intend to use. We started using already. You can see where they are running out of storage capacity. In a few weeks, they're going to have to start pumping oil unless they make changes. And that leverage that we have with the armada of boats that are currently positioned allow us to seize any sanctioned boats coming into or out of Venezuela, loaded with oil or on its way in to pick up oil, and we can pick and choose which ones we go after. We have court orders for each one. That will continue to be in place until the people who have control over the levers of power in that country make changes that are not just in the interest of the people of Venezuela, but are in the interest of the United States and the things that we care about. That's what
When the president was asked yesterday,
the legal authority is the court orders that we have.
When the president was asked yesterday who will be running Venezuela, he said it was you. He said it was the defense secretary. He said it was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Are you running Venezuela right now?
George, I've explained again that the leverage that we have here is the leverage of the quarantine. So that is a Department of War operation, conducting, in some cases, law enforcement functions with the Coast Guard on the seizure of these boats. I'm obviously very intricately involved in these policies. And by the way, very intricately involved in moving forward and what we hope to see some of these changes being addressed. Unfortunately, the person that was there before, who was not the legitimate president of the country, was someone we could not work with, was someone that we could not. He had already suckered the Biden administration a couple of years ago on a deal he didn't keep. And this is someone we simply couldn't work with. We are hopeful that there are people in place now. We're going to find out. The proof will be in what they do or fail to do, that will start making some of these changes that will ultimately lead to a Venezuela that looks substantially and dramatically different from what's been in place for 15 years. But my number one objective is America. We care about Venezuela. We want it to do well moving forward. But our number one objective here is America. No more drugs, no more trained at agua gangs coming our direction, and no more an area of the country in our hemisphere that becomes a crossroads for every single adversary we have around the world. Hezbollah, Iran.
Boom. In other words, translation, America's back, baby. Back. Okay? You don't mess with us. I think it's quite a message around the world. Just ricocheted overnight, right? Iran, China, Russia. You guys paying attention? We just kicked you all out. Okay? Because you were right here in our hemisphere. Total violation of Monroe Doctrine. And I would add that we and our oil companies had actually bought a lot of that land in Venezuela ages ago. And it wasn't until Chavez came along with all his European, colonialism nonsense that he decided to kick everybody out, including European companies as well. When I was down there, you had European companies like Total in the oil business. You had American companies. And guess what? The country was doing great. They were sitting pretty until they got this idea of socialism and communism. And that crept in. And before you know it, Chavez put all his cronies in charge, just like what Mamdani is doing, right? The guy who was the defense attorney for the Al-Qaeda terrorists. Yeah. He's now like running the legal show for Mamdani. So all the cronies get instituted into their positions in office. And guess what? None of them know how to run an oil company in Venezuela. So poor PDVSA was then just, bleeding cash until they could find out ways to pump a little illegal oil and send it to people that were sanctioned, including themselves. They were sanctioned. So this is amazing. And I'll tell you, ABC's having a hard time with it. CNN's having a hard time with it. CBS is having a hard time with it. PBS, well, they may not be around anymore. We're going to get to that story in a little bit. They're all having a hard time with it. Even the financial media is having a hard time with it. I mean, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I couldn't believe it. The headlines on Monday morning, they were like, oh, it's going to be choppy trading. And I'm like, choppy trading? I mean, the futures are way up. Like way up, guys. What's choppy or jittery about this one? It's good news, okay? Good news. So CNN is forced to admit that Americans recognize that, hey, it's really good news. I want you to see this clip I'm about to show you. My favorite reporter over there. He's got a lot of personality. He's the only one that can actually admit the truth on any of these polls. But first, keep in mind what Maduro was doing in the background. Okay, Maduro is singing his little Be Happy song, and Don't Worry, Be Happy. There was that little episode. And then he was taunting Donald Trump, saying, hey, come get me, come get me, come get me. Here he is.
Venga por mí.
Venga por mí. Yo estoy aquí en Miraflores. I'm here in Miraflores Palace. Well, he wasn't actually in Miraflores. He was actually in his bunker. And if you were watching the show on the weekend, I had a friend of mine on, Hans Humes, who runs Greylock Capital, and they actually are trying to recover all the money for debt holders that, have lost something in Venezuela. And he's very, very familiar with the inner workings of all sides there. And he's been multiple times to that bunker. And he told us all about the bunker. Anyway, Hans has been there. They have lots and lots of guards. It's up in the hills. And they came and they got him, not in Miraflores, but they got him in the bunker. I mean, just an amazing op, right? So kudos to Hegseth and the entire team. Just an amazing op, showing you, once again, the force, the almighty force and power of the U.S. military. Should we decide to use it, and you better believe we can. And Americans, guess what? They like that. So take that, CNN. Take that, CBS, ABC, NBC, the rest of you.
Okay, U.S. military ousting Maduro. Pre-ousting, what you saw was the clear plurality of Americans opposed at 47%, just 21% support. Come over to this side of the screen. After the ousting, look at that. The support through the roof. Now we're talking about 37%, well within the margin of error right here of the opposition, 38%. It turns out Americans like what they deem to be successful foreign policy operations. And in this case, they view the ousting of Maduro, at least up to this point, as a successful one, and therefore the support way up.
Yeah, before underwater, now basically even. What about the idea of putting Maduro on trial here in the United States?
Yeah, part of the reason why I think that the success number is way up, and you saw it here, what was it? It was 26 points in favor of opposition, and now within the margin of error, is because they simply don't like Nicolas Maduro. And in fact, they believe that he should be on trial for drug trafficking. Look at this, 50% of Americans favor compared to just 14% who oppose. So there are very few Americans here who oppose it. Even among Democrats, the opposition number is below, get this, just 24%, is below 25%. So this is something that unites Republicans. It divides Democrats. And at this particular point, support for the operation way up. And in terms of those who favor the drug trafficking trial for Maduro, that is a clear plurality.
Yeah, it doesn't really even divide Democrats on the idea of a trial. They all seem to support it by and large. Only 24% oppose it for Democrats. Let's talk about sort of what the lesson.
It's amazing, right? The Democrats, they were all for getting rid of Maduro. I actually happen to have a lot of inside knowledge on this, okay? A serious amount of inside knowledge. Again, my first job, long before I became a reporter, was actually in finance at Goldman Sachs, and we were trading Venezuelan debt along with Argentine, Brazilian, Mexican debt, and sovereign debt. And so, you kind of needed to know the politics of Venezuela inside and out. And so I've always stayed very close to the story. And I was there right as Chavez was coming to power. And the hope was, okay, maybe he won't be that bad. He says he's a socialist. He says he's a communist. Well, let me tell you, he was that bad and then some. And I've heard him speak multiple times. I was so sick of hearing about the white European that conquered Venezuela and took all the oil. Well, guess what? I guess the white European's back. And we're taking the oil. We're not really taking it. And again, I would just stress one thing. It is good for us, okay? Like, I'm a pragmatist. I'm a realist. This isn't about freeing. I mean, there are a lot of countries that we could free, right? That we would choose to free. This isn't really what that's about. This is about making sure that we lock down that oil and the rest of the natural resources there for yours truly, okay? Because it's, again, in our hemisphere. Do you really want the Russians and the Cubans and the Venezuelans? Forgive me, they are Venezuelan. Do you want the Chinese and Iranians hanging out just 3 hours off the coast of Cuba? I was actually, ironically, as this was all going down, in the Caribbean, right off the coast of Cuba as this was happening. And I'm thinking, this is a total national security issue. Like, they just shouldn't be there. When you go to Caracas these days, well, maybe not these days, but a couple of weeks ago, the number one language after Spanish that you would hear would be Russian. And after that, Chinese. And after that, Arabic. So enough, okay? The U.S. is back in town. And hey, I'm sorry, but it worked really well for a lot of years. Venezuela, we helped you produce your oil. You enjoyed the highest standard of living in Latin America. The place was like freaking Switzerland. And, when we went away, because you kicked us out, even though we owned contracts and owned land there, look what happened. Okay? Let it be a warning, by the way, to Mamdani in New York City. I kid you not. It's the best example of the terror that socialism, which becomes communism, creates.
Okay, I got a third one. She just came out a half hour ago. 10 minute one. I will do this one. 10 minutes on this one.
Actual evidence that the working, the Republican Party is doing well. And I don't fully understand what's going on in the media other than there's a lot of people getting paid to tell you lies.
I was born in a country fought by men better than me. Now we're in exile, time to make history.
One of the lies is that there's no arrests. This is the most arrests that any administration.
Yeah, this is, I already did that one. Okay, let's go down and.
NBA merch, game ticket.
Ilhan Omar. People are talking about the possibility of criminal charges for Ilhan Omar, for Tim Walz, and for Keith Ellison, the AG in Minnesota. Ilhan, as you know, has been at the center of this. She's the one that introduced the legislation. Funny enough, one of her campaign managers was one of the guys that was profiting off of it to the tune of millions and millions of dollars, 250 million being defrauded from American taxpayers. The president has turned off the spigot, not only to Minnesota, but to a lot of other states where they're questioning whether or not there was fraud. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And the other big question when all of this comes out is how much money went to Al-Shabaab, which is the illicit terror organization out of Somalia, with Al-Qaeda and ISIS links. So if that happened, and given my background in tracking terror funding, it would be very hard to think it didn't happen, because the way the money is transmitted through the Hawala network, Al-Shabaab has its hand in all of it and takes something off the top. So I don't know how you can confidently say that none of the money went back to a really, really bad organization. You can't. And maybe Ilhan is coming around to that realization, because I want you to see her speaking. Oh, this was in late November. And then she talks about whether or not any of the money went to terrorist organizations like a week later. And she's starting to sing a different tune because a light bulb has gone off in her head. She's in trouble.
There is not a single evidence that the president or his coonies have put forth that there are any single resource from taxpayers in Minnesota that has gone to aid and abet terrorism. That language is dangerous. That language puts the lives of Somalis, not only in Minnesota, but across the country, in danger.
If money from U.S. tax dollars is being sent to help with terrorism in Somalia, we want to know. Yeah. And we want those people prosecuted. And we want to make sure that that doesn't ever happen again.
Okay. So first it was absolutely no. There's no way that this could have ever happened, ever. And how dare you suggest otherwise? To, well, if it did happen, then we want to know. Yeah. It's not looking good. And that's why Walz had to resign, by the way, because it's really not looking good. And I think what they're going to find, and the Treasury Department's all over this. And again, I'm sorry, I don't have a ton of faith in Pam Bondi and the DOJ right now, but I do have faith in the Treasury Secretary and Scott Bessent and the team over there at Treasury. And they're looking at how the Hawala network had its fingerprints on this money that was going back to Somalia. And that's going to be a problem. Not to mention, there's some things that came out over the weekend on Twitter. I want to credit an account. She's great, Libs of TikTok, who was doing some reporting on this. And she basically found that Somalia's Minister of Foreign Affairs business partner in his healthcare company is a guy who actually also works for a money transfer service that got suspended because of its links to terror organizations. Again, these money transmitters are the ones that are allowing for some of the terror organizations to take some of the money off the top. And so this all came out. Look, where there's smoke, there's fire. And all of these people are in Ilhan Omar's district. So I don't think you can ignore that. I don't think you can ignore that her husband has been accused of fraud for his winery. And somehow, shortly after she debuts this feeding the future thing, she goes from like being worth what? $200,000? She married a Minette there, to now being worth something like 30 million. I mean, that's kind of weird. Alphonse, thanks for the generosity. I see you get highlighted, you guys, when you, and I'm just looking to see if I can go to your comment. But I find this very, very, very peculiar. And maybe her fingerprints aren't exactly on it, but where there's smoke, there's fire. She doesn't want you to think of that. She says, oh no, the only reason you're saying this is because you're prejudiced, and this is white supremacy at work. She sounds like Walls.
Why do you think Nancy Mace is targeting you as much as she is?
It's an easy clickbait. There is a lot of hate in this country for Muslims. There's a lot of hate in this country for Black people, especially Black women. And there is a lot of hate, severe hate for immigrants. And so I fit them all. She knows that she can easily raise money and get support for her bigotry from her bigoted, the bigoted people who want to give money to her campaign. But the reality is, in this country, the First Amendment does not only protect speech, it protects the right and liberty for anybody to practice their faith. I do practice the Muslim faith. I am an immigrant. I am proud of both of those things. And I was, of course, born in Somalia, which the president likes to mention. And I'm also proud of my Somali heritage. And that is not something that they can take away from me. And I just want to say, one thing.
I'm sorry, but this is not acceptable. And you can be proud all you want, and you should be proud, whatever. But it's not acceptable in the United States of America to have this kind of level of fraud. Okay, and Alphonse, I want to get to your comment because you're making the point that she was actually worth, what'd you say, 65? Oh no, she was $65,000 in debt. Okay, now she's worth like 30 million. Come on. And now they try and say, how dare you say this? It's somehow this must be prejudice of you. I mean, this is what Walls banked his entire freaking career that was very short-lived ultimately on. Oh, they're just racist. Well, that worked out well for you, right, Tampon Timmy? Minnesota fraud scandal grows and grows and grows to the point where Timmy Walls had to say he's no longer running for office. He will no longer run to be governor of Minnesota because clearly he can't govern. Clearly, here's President Trump talking about Timmy just moments ago.
Almost not even believable. This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man because, I had a campaign against him with JD. And he's a stupid man. And he's a corrupt politician. And the Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find. So usually when you look at a 19, that would mean it could be 50. But the numbers are astronomical. Think of it. They have a dead country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. They don't have a military. All they do is run around shooting people and trying to capture ships. We don't let them take ships anymore. You know why? We use the same exact missile on them that we use on the drug carriers. And it's very effective. You notice there's nobody capturing ships anymore? Because as they head out to go capture the ship, and the ship doesn't want to fire back because it's very flammable stuff in many cases. And the insurance companies don't want, because they build $1 billion ship, and they don't want anybody firing rockets into the ship. But we're hitting them so hard, and it's very similar. Same missile system. It's called Deadly Accurate. And do you notice that ships aren't being taken anymore? The pirates are. The pirates aren't. Well, no Somali pirates. It's actually very easy. They head out. We say, guess what? There's pirates. Bing. That's the end of the pirates.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of Somalia. But the Somali pirates are a big problem. I mean, that he's not wrong. And that's a big issue in the shipping industry. And it's a big problem for the insurers. And now here we're dealing with some version of Somalian pirates here in the US of A. And so this is getting really ugly.
Okay. I got some short ones to do here.
The most shocking things I was told was
Now what?
A second thing, we could even do like a 7-day work strike where nobody goes to work. I've seen that go around. All of those things are great and they would work. They're all missing one thing, and they need that one thing in order for them to work, and that's unity. I'm not talking about unifying with people on the extreme one side or the other. And I know who you are. You're out there. I know who you are. Realistically, we'd only need 1 or 2% of the country to contribute and to do it, and it would work. And I understand that's a tall order right now, a tall order given all of the tensions and given all of the division that has happened specifically in the last 6-7 years. In case you haven't noticed, we've got a big problem. That problem is currently sitting in Washington, D.C. It invited another real big problem from another country to come visit, and then was gonna push for him to get a pardon. So we got a big problem, and that is a collective problem, okay? That is a problem that we all have as Americans, as legal citizens of this country. That is a problem that we have. One thing that we all have in common is this problem. Doesn't matter if you're black, or white, gay, or straight. Doesn't matter who you voted for. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter who you voted for. And I know those comments will be coming if this hits the wrong algorithm. Well, you voted for no. Netanyahu was the very first person to congratulate Joe Biden when he won the election. We all have the same problem.
He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon?
And we can't do any of the other things, convention of states, 7-day work strike. As big as we are, we cannot do those things unless we have some type of unity. Unless there are people out there, a collectively largish amount of people that are willing to forego their identity politics and their own pride and unify against this one common problem. Unity is the answer. Unity. It just is. I'm not saying let people walk all over you. I'm not saying let people call you names. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to unify with the people who have the same ideology that you do. And that ideology is America first and America only. All of our other petty differences can be pushed aside for this greater good, because in 5 or 10 years, we're not even going to be able to argue about any of that, because they're just going to censor everybody. Those on the right who are saying, well, the left, they wanted to censor. You are not talking about the same things that we are talking about, obviously, right now, if you are not currently being censored, okay? We're still being censored. It's unity. That's what we need. We need to come together as a collective, even a small percentage of the collective. I'm not looking for the other big conservative influencers that are pushing the narrative and are collecting. I'm not looking at you. I don't want to unify with you. I won't unify with you. Same people with the left. I'm not going to unify with you either. If you're taking checks from the government in order to push the narrative, I don't want to fucking hear from you. The people that I'm looking for are these people down at the bottom. These people, us, we, the people. If you're one of those influencers and you're taking those checks like we're coming, we got to get unified first. We have to unify. That means everybody on the same page. If we could all stop paying our taxes, that would be one thing.
Okay, our other TikTok lady, she does a good job. Go to 7 o'clock.
Just made history. Plus, the big, beautiful bill made it through the Senate. It is now headed to the House. And I can tell you, Democrats are beginning to panic. But first, let's talk about the wildest story lighting up the headlines today. This is my favorite. President Trump, he has talked about draining the swamp for years. And finally, he's visiting what's left of it, reptiles and all. The new immigration holding facility will open tomorrow in Florida. It's fierce. And Trump had some fun with the press while touring it. Watch this.
The snakes are fast, but alligators, we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%.
You've got to love the man. He's mixing national security with survival tips from Gator Boys. If you thought that was good, then came this.
Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here, that son of a bitch.
He narrowly escaped that one. And I'm guessing Hunter Biden is probably even more grateful today than he ever was in the past for Daddy's signed pardon. I don't think he'd do well there. Here's the thing, though. We wouldn't actually need this facility if Joe Biden hadn't thrown open the southern border like it was Black Friday at Walmart. But now Trump's just stepping in, trying to clean up the mess. And here's an important point. Even with Alligator Alcatraz, the administration is still offering people a chance to self-deport once they're brought to the facility.
Right when you do the intake, they have the information about voluntary departure. They have the ability. Obviously, you guys are funding that because it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. So even if they get brought to the front doorstep here, they still have an opportunity to just go back voluntarily. And then this way, they're not.
Let's say they get in here like, hey, I want to stay here. I want to go back.
We can put them on a plane that day and take them home. We'll buy their plane ticket, go home, and then they get the chance to come back legally. If they wait and say we're not
do that, they can come back legally after a period.
Yep.
This administration is really doing all that it can to get these individuals to make the right decision and just self-deport. However, if they don't leave voluntarily, Governor Ron DeSantis promises that these people, they're not going anywhere they're not supposed to.
What'll happen is you bring people in there. They ain't going anywhere once they're there unless you want them to go somewhere, because good luck getting the civilization. So the security is amazing, but what natural and otherwise.
This might end up being the ultimate deterrence, which I think is the point. And it doesn't sound like any of these inmates are going to be staying for too long.
You'll be able to bring people in, they'll get processed. They have an order of removal, then they can be queued, and you can, the federal government can fly right on the runway, right there. You literally drive them 2,000 feet, put them on a plane, and then they're gone. It's very logistically simple.
CNN suffers a...
Okay, other TikTok lady, I got one more, and we'll play with her, and then got a 4-minute one.
Back to bite them, and it's biting hard. 2 massive investigations just dropped on Gavin Newsom and Tim Walz. And let me tell you, this could sink both of them faster than a lead balloon. So let's see how Tim Walz is handling the news.
I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen?
Over my dead body, huh? That's rich, considering DHS just rolled in with 2,000 agents on the ground. And guess what? That's only the opening act. I uncovered the owners of a Hilton property who refused to book a room for ICE agents in Minneapolis. And once you see the details, it'll make sense. Then Zohran Mamdani's team got put on notice by the Department of Justice over a video showing a member of his staff saying that white people will be penalized. Good luck, New York. You're cooked. And it gets even juicier. The 26-year-old who broke into the vice president's home, surprise, surprise, the family is a major Democratic donor. All that, plus a bonus clip of President Trump doing what he does best today, working the crowd. I love when he goes into storyteller mode. And this one, it had me laughing out loud. So, I had to share it. As always, hit that like button if you enjoy this. And welcome to all the newbies who've joined the channel. We're so happy to have you with us. And don't forget to smash that notification bell so you're not leaving the latest political chaos up to the algorithms. All right, let's dive in. President Trump woke up this morning and he chose accountability, a concept California leadership is apparently unfamiliar with. The Golden State is officially off notice and straight into investigation territory. The president writing this morning on Truth Social, quote, California under Governor Gavin, the Democrats' favorite mantra, no one is above the...
Okay, I got 2 of hers done today. Okay, we'll get to George will be the last one.
Essentially reference your family, your son. She says, this is Attorney General Pam Bondi of the DOJ. Nick Shirley's work has helped show Americans the scale of fraud in Tim Walz's Minnesota. The Justice Department has been investigating this for months. So far, we have charged 98 individuals, 85 of Somali descent, and more than 60 have been found guilty in court. Obviously, it's not a one-off. But when you see this, the Department of Justice, the AG, noting that your son helped this federal investigation, how does that make you as a mother, and really ultimately as you are very passionate about what you do as an investigator, how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel proud that what we're doing is getting noticed, because the way I think of it is, if your house is burning down, are you going to try to stop the fire, or are you just going to let it burn? And our
This is that
lawmakers
one
in
lady,
America
right?
have just
From,
let our country burn. They're the ones to
2-minute
blame. They're the
video.
ones who've allowed the Somalians to get away with it. The Somalians, they have a perfect scheme. They found out a perfect way to take taxpayer dollars. But the bottom line is, our government leaders are the ones who have allowed this to happen. Tim Walz knew this was going on, and instead of doing anything about it, he calls people that are trying to call it out, like my son Nick Shirley, a white supremacist. They're not saying, thank you for showing this. Thank you for showing what's going on. Instead, we're called white supremacists because we're trying to save our country. The people in Minnesota are thankful for this. Pam Bondi obviously is, because we're doing the work for them. They could have done this themselves, but it's literally taking people like me, my son. We're the ones out there showing what's going on because people are too afraid. Sorry, my voice is coming out.
Let me
People
jump.
are too afraid.
Let me jump in, Brooke, if I can, because I wanted to just reference something or give my viewers a point of reference. Control, this is AA32. You alluded to Governor Walz pushing back on your son and labeling him a white supremacist. We have that. Here it is.
This is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy. When you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. That's never happened once in my whole damn life.
Now, what are your thoughts there? You shared a little bit on it, but listening to it back right now in this moment.
It just makes me angry. It makes me angry that he would say that about all the people who live in Minnesota. He's speaking about his people, and he's saying that word about them. And it makes me angry, and it makes me feel sad. It makes me feel sad for the people in Minnesota, because he works for them. Yeah. He's not protecting his people in Minnesota. He's protecting a certain community, a certain and I don't know, to call them a race, a certain race. He's only protecting a certain group in his community. And it shouldn't be like that. He's the governor of Minnesota. He's not the governor of a certain group in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. He needs to worry about his whole state, just not a certain group. And it makes me very mad. And I think it's unfair to the people of Minnesota, because the hardworking Minnesotans are being robbed of their money. And the people that are taking their money, they're running these daycares, they're running all these businesses, all in Minnesota. And they're living high on the hog. They're driving.
And it really goes
nice
back
cars.
to, it just goes back to, Brooke, I apologize jumping in, but it's the old playbook. I mean, you bring it back to race, and now you're having a race debate. That's not what this is about. This is about the fraud that's taking place and the law enforcement that needs to happen, and how this happened under the governor's watch and others. I wanted to bring this up with you as well, because,
That was good. So the last one will be George, 9 minutes. It'll be a 9-minute one. I'll probably just do one show tomorrow.
Had a bounty on his head, and a $50 million bounty, and said 15 to 25 to 50 once you got his ass. That's not something to be complaining about. If you're cool with the bounty, you got to be cool with the capture.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen A. Smith went off on the Democrats, eviscerating them for attacking Trump for capturing Maduro, thereby freeing the people of Venezuela. Stephen A. is consistently realizing that the Democrats are just hypocrites, what everyone's known for years. They're hypocrites, projectocrats, projecting upon you what they are. Here's that powerful rant.
My position is one of questions, and I get myself in trouble asking questions, but I'm never going to stop, because my nature as a journalist is to ask questions. When I think about the United States, and I think about our government in the nation's capital, I need somebody to make it make sense for me. Didn't Trump originally put a $15 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head in his first term in office? The answer to that would be yes. Didn't President Joe Biden in 2025 before leaving office, put a $25 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head? The answer to that would be yes. Didn't President Trump come back after putting the $15 million bounty on Maduro's head, after witnessing Joe Biden put a $25 million bounty on Maduro's head, up the ante by increasing that bounty to $50 million? The answer to that would be yes. So if we as a government, crossing party lines, mingling with other administrations in terms of mirroring their agenda as it pertains to this specific individual, if that is what happened, what's the problem? What am I missing? Now, if the vice president of Venezuela, who's now been sworn in as its leader, is opposed to this, I get it. Cuba, Russia, doing business with Venezuela, particularly as it pertains to its oil, because even though the United States produces more oil, they don't have a larger reserve than Venezuela. We know they have it. My point to all of y'all is this. As a nation, this is where we have to hold our politicians accountable. Make it make sense. What is the problem with President Trump going in and getting Maduro when we already put a bounty on his head, crossing the first Trump administration, crossing the Biden administration, and now with the Trump administration, part two, being in power, each time they were on the same page, we got to get this man. They called him a narco-terrorist. They accused him of funneling drugs into our nation. Trump did it, Biden did it. Republicans agreed to it, Democrats agreed to it. What's the problem? I just need it to make sense for me. Because if it made sense for Trump to put the $15 million bounty, and the Republicans said nothing, and it made sense for Biden to put a $25 million bounty, and the Democrats said nothing, why is it a problem now that we got him? Why? And not an American soldier died? Not one? Not an American citizen got harmed? Not one? Not one? Not one. Come on now. This is what I mean when I talk about us being fair. There's a lot of things I don't like about what the president's doing or how he might do it. I don't like the style at all. But in the end, when it's effective, and you got to give credit where it's due. That's how you legitimately grill him when you diametrically oppose what he's doing, because it makes sense, because you're not engaging in partisanship. You're consistent.
You heard him, ladies and gentlemen. It's pure hypocrisy. There's no position on this earth Democrats are consistent on. To prove Stephen A's point even further, the official White House page actually released before and after statements from Democrats. Chuck Schumer in 2020 said the president brags about his Venezuela policy, talking about President Trump. Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began. Schumer was saying Trump has failed by not getting rid of the Maduro regime. And now that Trump has, this is reckless. And the American people are just this morning in fear of what's going to happen here. I guess that was before millions of Venezuelans in the country took to the streets to thank President Trump for what he did, celebrate. Democrats are so out of touch, man. Even Pocahontas ran her mouth. Before, she said, Maduro is a dictator and a crook. The United States should lead the international community in addressing Venezuela's humanitarian crisis. Keep in mind, over 8 million people fled that socialist utopia that Zoran Mamdani wants to create in New York, and the Democrats are supporting it. And she said we should support regional efforts to negotiate a political transition. And now that President Trump has done it, the American people voted for lower cost, not for Trump's dangerous military adventurism overseas that won't make the American people safer. So opening the border for 4 years made us safer? Okay. Penis Durbine even had something to say before. We can't allow this president's short attention span to stop us from delivering on our promise to help the Venezuelan people rebuild their country. Now, I disagree with President Trump's use of U.S. military forces without congressional approval. And I worry about this administration's follow-through on foreign policy interventions. Okay. So which is it, penis? Are you for helping the Venezuelan people rebuild or not? Let us know, because we're curious. Hillary Clinton's former running mate, Tim Kaine, an even more deranged version of Tim Walz. This is a deeply concerning development for Venezuelans and for the entire region, since instability abroad impacts us here at home. What? So if Venezuela has a crooked regime there, It affects us in America. Okay, now this is what he's saying. President Trump's unauthorized military attack on Venezuela to arrest Maduro is a sickening return to a day when the United States asserted the right to dominate the internal political affairs of all nations in the Western Hemisphere. You can't make this up. Chris Van Hollen. Then, obviously, we know Maduro and his cronies do not want to go quietly into the night. But the United States needs to work with its partners and allies in the region to ratchet up the pressure. Trump does it. It's an illegal act of war to replace Maduro. There's more Jamie Rascal. Then the democratic world must stand up for the rule of law in Venezuela and oppose Maduro's assault on the electoral process and free speech. Now, Trump is not only violating our Constitution, but he's shredding the rules-based international order created after World War II. Amy Klobuchar, I have, of course, supported bringing in the new president and delegitimizing the Maduro regime. Now, I have strongly opposed sending American forces into harm's way in Venezuela without authorization from Congress. So can someone remind me, because I must have missed it. I must have missed the article in the section in the clause. Where in the Constitution does it say the president needs to seek congressional approval to execute an arrest warrant? Because that's what that was. It was a law enforcement activity aided by the military. Ladies and gentlemen, the entire world is seeing that these Democrats are pure hypocrites. They don't have real stances. Their entire political platform is to stand against Trump. If Trump solves cancer, then the cancer cells are getting discriminated against because they deserve to live too. All cells deserve rights, even cancer cells. They deserve just as many rights as healthy cells in the human body. That's what they would say. If Trump saved a human from being eaten by an animal, a shark, sharks need food too. How could the president starve our ocean sharks? Green New Deal, Green New, like, come on. They don't have any principles, ladies and gentlemen. Their entire strategy is, how can I oppose Trump today? Every single leftist wakes up and that's at the top of their mind. Thank you all very much for watching. God bless and goodbye.
Okay, that was a good one to end the show with. All right, yeah, tomorrow we'll play it by ear, go 5, then if anything develops, I'll be on. God bless everybody, love all, and please hit the like. Thanks to the Blue Wrenches, Tam, Lucy. I guess Lucy might have worked tonight. Okay. Stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith. Never give up. Signing off. Chico Dude, another night of intel and day. See you guys tomorrow.